everyone, this is Tammy with Creative Critters. I want to show you the new Cricut Cake Mini. Now that's the big brother in the background, my Cricut Cake. This one is the new Mini. It's made just like the Cricut Create, same size as the original Baby Bug, but has all the features, almost all the features of the Cricut Expression. This one though is specifically made for cake decorating or food products. Now, I'm going to share a project with you today, but we're not decorating the cakes, cupcakes, or cookies. We're actually going to be cutting tortillas. I found these tortillas that are uncooked, and that's really the trick to it. Alright, to get started, you'll be using a 12 by 6 Cricut Cake mat. It is not a sticky mat because it's just like the regular Cricut Cake mats. There's no adhesive on it. So with the tortillas, you do need to apply a thin coating of shortening with a pastry brush. There you go. And then because the tortillas are round, I overlap until I get my corners on the first 6 inches. Then I'm going to go to the 6-inch line, take a pizza cutter, and just trim that off. Then I'll take a second one and overlap it, and then go back to that 6-inch line and trim that piece off. There. And then I go back and just trim all of the extra pieces off. And I don't throw these pieces away. These are actually have become my family's favorite pieces because I throw them in the oven too and bake them up as just extra snacks, and they are really tasty. Okay, there you go. And so that leaves me with 2 square pieces of the uncooked tortillas. Alright, I'm going to use my Gypsy with the basic cake cartridge, and I'm cutting out stars at different sizes. Alright, there we go. We've got stars on 2 6 by 6 pieces of uncooked tortilla. So we just peel the pieces that we are not going to use up. And I don't waste this. Like I said, this is the stuff that my family loves for me to throw into pieces on the cooking sheet, and they get to snack on those, while the pieces that I cut will be for the special dinner for my nephew because his football team made it to the All-Stars, or he made it to the All-Stars. So now I'm going to just take my stars and add them onto a baking sheet that was lightly sprayed with a cooking spray, and we'll put them in the oven for approximately 6.5 minutes at 350 degrees, and they will bake up beautifully. There we go. And out of my magic oven, here they are. Here's all my different stars, and they're awesome. They taste wonderful. Now these don't have any seasonings on them because I made them to go with soup, but my sister had the idea of putting some cinnamon sugar on them. You could put some chili powder, other kind of seasonings, and really just kind of play around with it. These would be great in a platter with some kind of salsa or dip too. So lots of fun things that you can do with these. But this is just one part of my project today, so hang on and we'll start the second part. Alright, step 2 of tonight's project has to do with cheese. Now I like to do this with the Gypsy because you can actually line up your cheese squares as a template on the Gypsy. And when you put your cheese on your mat, you're not going to need any adhesive as far as like shortening or anything like that, because the cheese actually sticks to the mat quite well. So you're going to want to start off with a clean mat. Now if you get up closer, you'll see that I started with this piece of cheese in the corner, and each piece of cheese, American sliced cheese, is 3 1/4 inches by 3 1/4 inches. So there's one piece. Then I move over and I start on the 4-inch line, and then I move over and I start on the 8-inch line. So I know exactly how to line the cheese up each time, and so that I know that it's perfect, you can see that my first layer is actually the template. So if we go to the first layer, there we go, you can see that I have those squares lined up. All I did was take a square out of Planton's school book. You can take one out of many of the cartridges, and I measured it at 3 1/4 inch by 3 1/4 inch so that it would fit my cheese perfectly. And then I put that on the first layer. Then I go to my second layer, and that is where I'll put my images. Now I do want to be able to see the first layer through because I'm sizing it up. I'll never cut that first layer because that is actually the size of the cheese, but I'll make sure that when I put my images, whether I'm spelling something out or doing something else, all those images fit perfectly in those squares, and then that way they'll cut perfectly on my cheese every time. So how about we try it? I'm going to load my mat into the Cricut. And for the cheese, my pressure is actually on a 3. Press cut. And OK. Unload my mat, and now we have cheese that we have cut, and I will keep my extra pieces and not waste those either. I just throw them in a baggie and use them for salads and other things. And there we go. The cheese is now ready to go in the soup. Isn't that cool? And this is my son and my nephew's favorite soup that I make. It's called meatball minestrone. It's got lots of good vegetables in it, but it has the meatballs that the boys love. So while they get their meatballs, we actually get some good healthy veggies in them too. So we're going to serve up the soup with the name of his team, the Lobos, and this was supposed to be a football and I was trying to use it from Cake Basic. Well, my nephew doesn't really think it looks like a football, so we're not going to use that. And then we can just float in a couple of the cheese stars, and then we're going to take some of our cracker or tortilla stars that we baked up and put those around the outside edge like that. There we go. Perfect. Now, that is a meal fit for an all-star football player, don't you think?